Hey everyone, thank you for joining me today. We haven't done a tutorial for a while. We've kind of been behind the scenes working on various templates and more things to sell and working on the listings. But I did want to get on here and walk through this really cool template that we've listed. We have it in several spots on our Etsy listings. We have it in several different areas and several different forms. But we're going to go through it today. So this is a wedding template. And if any of you guys have seen my Etsy listings, this is completely left field compared to what I normally do. But just looking at it, I feel like there's a need. And I feel like this template ended up being probably one of the coolest things that I've built so far. I'm really, really excited with how this one turned out. So we're going to walk through it today and just show you some of the different features real quickly and show it. So today we're going to be doing Google Sheets. But it is available in Excel. The Excel works exactly the same as this one. The only difference is one runs in Google Sheets, one works in Excel. So that's literally the only difference. But for this one, we're going to show it in the Google Sheets one because I want to show the upload part because it is a little different with Google Sheets. So if we go ahead and start, the first thing when you buy it is you will get a download. And the download will look like this. So it'll just be actually a PDF. It says, thank you for your purchase. This is actually the exact one for this particular item. Once you do that, if you click the to download, click here, and I'm not going to click because I go ahead and have it up, you're going to get this right here. You're going to get this, would you like to make a copy of Wedding Planner? And if you say go ahead and make a copy, as I just did, it's going to think for a moment. And now you're going to actually see within here are the template that you buy, and you now own this. It made a copy of it. You can actually see where it says copy of. So now you own this. I have no access to it. If you've had a Google Sheets before, you know sometimes if you share something, someone can see it. Where you made a copy of this, I can't see it. I would never see it again. This is yours and yours alone in yours. So going through here, we're going to go one at a time through here. The first one's a dashboard. Actually, the first page is an introduction, talks about all the different things that are on here, but we're going to go through them one by one. So we're going to just skip this. So first page here is a wedding dashboard. Most of this is just areas for you to enter some of the most kind of critical, needed information, informative pieces of it. So, date, time, venue for rehearsal, ceremony, reception, list for places to put your bridal party, who the name, phone, and email, so easy, quick contacts. And then over to the right here, you can see you have the people who are vendors, their name, their phone, their email. Just a quick place where if you're looking for something, you know where to go. Down to the left side here, this stuff is actually linked to some of the other tabs. So, attendance, if you will go to the guest list, this has how many guests you're planning, how many are invited, how many you're remaining to invite. Some budget, you can actually see I left a little bit of information in here that shows things like how much you're budgeting, how much you've spent to date, how much you have remaining compared to that budget. And then down here, just a ceremony of the breakdown of those. So a lot of information, just a short period of time. And like I said, just a summary spot. But there's a lot more detail in each one of these. So if we go to the first one, we'll go ahead and go to the budget. And you actually see here we have just a little bit of information here. As best as I can, we've input several of the items that you think you might have. But as you can see, these are all customized. If I want to change the name of this, I'm going to try and just say that. Or, say, ring. I know I had rings up there, but you can see you can type it and you can change any of these. These are all fully customizable as it is. Also, something just to note is they're grouped by ceremony, reception, rehearsal, and honeymoon. If you don't like these groupings, if you want different ones, let's say you want to do this based off decorations. Let me move that, and you can see now you're grouping by decorations over here, and I believe that eventually this one right here will actually update itself to, yep, you can see right there. It actually changed. So you can actually change these groupings. If you don't like the groupings that we have as it is, that does not offend me. This is your wedding and the way you want to do it. So you can change these however you like. But really all you have to do is you start entering budgets. So, let's say bride's dress. I know it's not $100. Let's say that's $2,000. I'll be honest, I don't know what a wedding dress goes for. Let's say the bridesmaid's wardrobe costs $1,000, and let's say groom's tuxedos cost $500. Let's just use those. You can see here we're starting to input stuff. If we go over here and let's just say the reception side is $2,000. Let's actually change this to 2,000 as well. And you can see now we're actually starting to input stuff. You see some of the summary data here. You have total budgeted, total spent to date, how much you have remaining. So one of the things you can do is if you are starting off and you have a certain budget you want to, go in here, put the amounts in, and then as you actually spend it, you can see how much more money you have remaining to kind of keep you on a budget. And then also just note that it gives you kind of a summary comparing it right here. There's some bar charts over here and some pie charts over the top. Really just some simple key pieces of information to see how you're doing on this. Now, as I kind of alluded to, I think earlier, this wedding planner right here is an all-inclusive item. So in other words, you're getting all of these. However, if you're just wanting the budget, if you're just wanting the guest list / scene chart, those are also for sale as their own separate items. We'll put the links to all of these things in the comment section here once we get done. But and they cost just a little bit less if you just want one of the single items versus the entire item. But they're all kind of tied together in this one all-inclusive template. But the one thing also to note that with the budget is if you go over here now, you can actually see that we got some information flowing through there just to give you kind of a quick summary place where you keep your stuff. The next place is a task list, and again, all of these things are perfectly customizable. If you needed more, you can add more. So for example, let's say in 12 months you need to add another item. You could insert a row, and you could type in here whatever it is. Book flights for, sorry for my typing. And now you have that kind of right there in the middle. And one of the cool things is as you click on these things, they actually go through and check it off. And you actually see the thing that we added goes as well. And like I said, these are, as we say in all the areas where there's kind of instructionals and notes, the checklist here is, I did a little bit of research, looked at several places where people kind of talk about when you should be doing things. Right now, these are all sorted by, kind of rough estimate of when you should do these things, do these tasks. However, obviously with your wedding, your wedding better than I do, and so you may have to move these to different spots and different timings. We also have left places where you can put the person who's responsible, when that thing is due, and any notes that you want to put out there. So this is a nice, easy place to organize all the various tasks you might have, all the way down to the week and day before the wedding. So it really tries to help you from the beginning to the end. Now, if we go to the next, this is one thing, we don't actually sell this checklist on its own. If you want just the checklist for some reason, I didn't put it as its own item for sale. If that's something that you would want and you want to know, I'd be perfectly happy to list it. Just leave a comment in the YouTube comment section, and I will get back with you and get a listing out there. So now, this is probably, to be honest, my favorite spot in the entire template, and you'll see probably why as I do this. So the first thing is this is a guest list. So let's say that you're wanting to, let's say you have 200 guests that you're trying to look at. Here is one place. You don't have to try and count up the guests yourself. You don't have to try and stress and have all these different notebooks of who you're having and what. I think that's actually how our wedding was done back in the day. But you can kind of just have this as one place to organize everything related to the guest list, what tables are at if you're assigning tables, what meals they might be having if they're doing meals, and also their contact information. As you can see here, we give enough room for their address, their city, their state, their zip, their phone, their email. So we're really giving you as much information as you can get. So let's just put, Jane Doe, John Doe. Now one thing, just to look here, see that you enter here how many you're wanting. See now it says that there's 2 people that are invited, and it tells you how many you have left. Now also what's kind of neat is see where it says total RSVP 0. It tells you how many open seats you have left that are not RSVP. Now here's what is kind of cool about this. If you check right here, notice that now it's put them as RSVP. Now let's put a couple more people. Phil. I'm really making up names because I don't have a lot of creativity, and I don't want to use people's actual names. So, and again, now you see here we have total invited, remain to invite, RSVP 2. You check it, and like I said, it changes. And so as you go down here and add people, it tells you exactly how many people you might have. Now, let's talk about why I really like this. That's pretty. I think that's pretty cool in itself. And like I said, you can go over here and add as much address information as you can. There's enough rows in here to add. I believe it's roughly 500. You have 500 rows. So if every person brought a +1, you could, in theory, have 1,000 people in your wedding in this template. If you needed more, just reach out and I can always add more. But I felt like this was generally safe for most people out there. But I do want to let that be known. Now, this is why I think it's pretty cool. If you go over here and start assigning tables, so you got bunches of tables you can actually add. Let's say these people are table 1. Let's say these people are table 2. Go over here to our seating chart. See right here, I've put that there's going to be 6 seats per table. You can customize this. Let's say there's going to be 8. This right here will give you a summary of all your tables and how many are available, how many are assigned, and how many are remaining to tell you exactly how many people you have. Now, what's even cooler is over here. It actually shows each person at their assigned table, which I think is really awesome. So, once you actually start listing people in this guest list, you start adding people in here. Like, let's add another person in here. I'm going to make up names as we go. So let's say that's in, like I said, we are truly just making up names as we go. So let's say you go right here. Let's say we also add them to table 1, just so you can see what happens when you put more than one person. Notice now it's adding all 4 people here. So you can see a summary to make sure that you don't overbook one table, and you can also then go over here and see who all you have listed at that table. I think that's really cool. This is one of those things that when I figured out how to do this for Google Sheets and for Excel, I got very excited. And like I said, you can see here, man, you can have a lot of tables. My goal is to make it so that, pretty much any wedding of any size could use this, and so I believe there's enough tables for everyone to go around. So that's the seating chart. And like I said, I think that's one of the neatest things. And again, this guest list and seating chart is its own item for sale in Etsy. And so, like I said, we'll put that in a link. And again, these are all available both in Google Sheets and in Excel. Now, one last thing that's kind of neat. See this meal for guest 1, meal for guest 2. If we go over here and we go to events, menu, music, this is mostly just kind of areas for you to kind of jot down things like information for your rehearsal, kind of the events on the day of the ceremony with who's responsible for them, and then also a menu. Now, what's kind of neat here is we're going to put a little bit of information here. Let's say you have dinner items, and you need the person to actually tell you what they're going to have because you need a count of how many chicken or steak. Let's just use those. So let's do chicken entree, and let's do steak entree. Now, if you go over here and see where it says needs pre-count, if you hit yes on this, now let's say you have something else that's an appetizer, right? Appetizer. Let's say these are sliders. If you don't need a pre-count, you just hit no here. And then, like I said, there's a place for notes. But here's the thing that's neat. See where this says need a pre-count? If you now go over to our guest list and you hit the drop down for meal for guest list, you can have a chicken entree, you can have a steak entree. Let's just add a few here. And I just want to show you what it does. So if you look here, because everyone likes steak in this scenario, we got 4 steak and we have 2 chicken entrees. Now, if you go back over here, notice that you have 2 chicken, 4 steak. And notice that the appetizers, because they're just this thing, and you say that you don't need a pre-count, notice that they don't even show up as. Oh, let me get back to the guest list. They don't even show up as an option here. And just to show you just that you can do it with anything, let's add a fish entree just to show you that it's dynamic. It really actually adds up. Let's do fish entree. Let's do yes here, and I'll just show you. Go back to the guest list. Now you can see fish entree just showed up. And go back here, and now you can actually see where I changed that count. And so this, like I said, to me, this is a really neat feature. This guest list in and of itself, I think, is fantastic for organizing large chunks of information as it relates to the guests that you have arriving at your wedding. And so to me, that is just this is really, really helpful. Now, one thing to note, as I said, this entire all-in-one planner is built this way. And just to note that the guest list and the seating chart are in and of themselves that are own self-standing item for sale if you don't want to spend money for the entire planner. One thing to note is in that version, there is an option right underneath the seating that shows an option to add 3 meals, and it'll do the same thing just on this spot because the guest list seating chart one doesn't have this last tab. So I put the meals as an option right under the guest list. And so that, like I said, if we go back here real quick, and I just want to show you, you have areas for the events of the ceremony, and I put person responsible, especially if you're having someone like a singer, so you can put who that is. And over here in the music list, you put what songs you have, what they're for, really just anything. And so that's it. That's kind of a quick rundown of this product. Right now, I believe this is on Etsy for $5 for the all-inclusive. The guest list and the seating chart in the budget are all, like I said, from being self-standing as their own things for sale. They were just a little bit less than that. But I wanted to show you, like I said, I'm really proud of this thing. And again, the Excel one looks exactly like this. If someone wants to see me look at the Excel, I can. Just put that in the comment, and I'll run through this with the Excel one. But it works the exact same way. The font's a little different because the font that I'm using here is not available in Excel. But otherwise, it is exactly the same. So, thank you for viewing my product. Like I said, if you like this and you think this would be helpful for your wedding, put a comment there. We'll put a link here. Go and take a look at it and think about buying that. So, thank you for taking this little bit of time to view the product. I hope this was helpful, and we will see you soon. Thank you.